Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for 6 things we learned from Chelsea 1, West Ham United 0. In a performance that I don't think I can ever sit here with such a big grin on my face despite never really being entertained for the entirety of the match, other than the laughter that I'd actually just given up to the point that we just weren't going to win this. I started laughing when Jorginho missed, and it was laughing out of pure anger and just a pure lack of surprise also that had actually happened. And then all of a sudden, Christian Pulisic turns up at just the right moment with a magnificent finish to get Chelsea what could be the biggest 3 points that we have had in recent times. The curse of Stamford Bridge has flipped entirely on its head. And if that isn't a good enough reason to subscribe to GBFC and hit the like button on today's video, if we can get 5,000 likes for this, it will have absolutely saved me from what I genuinely thought was going to be the biggest embarrassment of a 6 things we learnt video that I would ever have to make. Sometimes it's easier to make a video when we get beaten 4-1 at home to Brentford, as it would have been to even test my own abilities as a YouTuber of the last 11 years to make something entertaining out of one of the most dull Chelsea games that I can remember in a significant period of time. Recently it's been dull in the sense of, well, we've been knocked out of Champions Leagues. We've had humbling, embarrassing defeats at Stamford Bridge, which is kind of a dull, it gives you a dull outlook on where Chelsea are going. But for the majority of this game, West Ham looked like the West Ham that you would expect when they make 6 changes, knowing damn well that their biggest game of the season is a European semi-final on Thursday. Now, Craig Dawson was sent off, and he was a leagues above everybody else on the pitch today. He was that good for West Ham, and then even with a red card, as much as I don't like West Ham, it's a London derby and I'm bloody happy we win and they lose, I think Dawson was even unlucky to get sent off. And then obviously when Jorginho misses the penalty, it's kind of comedy gold really, because anyone out there who doesn't think it's a penalty also thinks that maybe Jorginho didn't think it was a penalty either, because he just gives the ball back to Fabianski. It's mind-blowing how Chelsea have come away with this with a win. But Christian Pulisic is box number 1, and it is an immediate blue box, because the reason I hated this game so much is because it was genuinely one of the most boring Chelsea performances that I can ever remember. It wasn't atrocious, it was just boring. And then Christian Pulisic, who's not on the pitch for very long, 10 minutes, and he arrives at just the right time with the Chelsea one-man advantage. Pulisic finds that pocket of space after a great ball in from Marcos Alonso, and the finish, I'm so happy for Christian Pulisic, because even though people jump the gun and believe that I don't rate Pulisic, what I don't rate is the fact that we don't see it often enough. But in a game and a moment like this today, he turns up with what could be a goal worth 100 million for Chelsea. It now extends our lead over the top 4. It gives us the smallest bit of momentum, because performance wasn't good, but the win at this stage in the season, when only Arsenal seem to even want to challenge for the top 4, this could be a massive moment. And I think in terms of Christian Pulisic's season, this could be a watershed moment for him, because Timo Werner today, disappointed. Havertz, disappointed. I thought Mount was good, but this moment for Pulisic is absolutely massive in Chelsea's season, and it's a saviour, not just for this bloody video, for his season, but also what was looking like yet another awful drab Chelsea performance, where you just wonder if we would have ended up stumbling game by game and we'd have only ended up in the top 4 due to a technicality. But because of that one moment of brilliance from Christian Pulisic, I've now got belief that we can kick on from this one moment and go ahead and finish in the top 4. We move into box number 2. It's a red for Jorginho. Now, I'm not going to talk about the penalty straight away, which might absolutely blow some of your minds, because trust me, I'm ready to go in on this one. But throughout the rest of the game as well, Jorginho didn't really make any defensive errors, but then going forwards, I can't really say he did much for the attack at all either. On numerous occasions, I see gaps opening up, particularly when Lukaku comes on. There's a perfect ball on for Romelu Lukaku, but he somehow goes back to Thiago Silva. And then the penalty. Sorry, I couldn't wait any longer. I just have to mention that I embarrassed myself this weekend on social media. I apologise to Bruno Fernandes right now, because I thought when I saw that penalty against Arsenal, it was one of the most comedic failures I've seen from an individual in an individual moment of recent times. But Jorginho's penalty is even worse, because at least Fernandes' pen actually got to the post a little bit quicker than Jorginho's pass to Lucas Fabianski. It looked as if he had a bloody bet on it, which I know he didn't because he's a professional footballer. I respect Jorginho, but for this one, I think one of the worst things you can say about a footballer is they might have had a bet on this. And that's how bad it was. That is just how bad that penalty was from Jorginho. We've said it over and over again. When it works, we kind of breathe a sigh of relief before we celebrate. When it doesn't work, it's embarrassing. It is seriously embarrassing. And when the rest of the performance was also poor from you individually, there ain't no way you're going to get away with this one, even though I'm very happy that Chelsea got the win. Box number 3, I might as well just put the word boring in a red box because it kind of does summarise, despite my... Again, I feel a bit bad for West Ham. They actually probably deserve better than this, really. And if you think I'm being too harsh, do let me know, because I appreciate the massive value in this win. I appreciate what this could do for our season. And after recent times of complaining and being worried, this is probably time for me to just shut up moaning. I get it, but it was boring. Box number 4 is a green for Mason Mount. I thought Mason Mount today was good. Chelsea had so many shots on goal, and Mason Mount was the catalyst for a lot of those, even though finishing today wasn't at his best. Chelsea, we needed someone to actually try and pull the trigger, to give anybody any kind of impetus to go forward and try and do more. I thought Mount was good. He found pockets of space, even though I'm going to say Timo Werner doesn't get a box, because I want to talk about Havertz a bit more at the end, but Werner's finishing today again poor. When you're using him up front, you need him to score those chances, because that's what we bought him for. And despite recent form, today was one of those days where, unless Pulisic comes up with that moment of brilliance, we are once again left talking more about Timo Werner's finishing. But Mount was good. He was a catalyst for more of Chelsea's threats. Thiago Silva is box number 5. Chelsea keep a clean sheet at home. And even though it wasn't pretty, even though it wasn't entertaining in the slightest, apart from when Pulisic does the thing, when he scores the goal, Thiago Silva, I thought, marshalled the backline very well. West Ham didn't have their best, most aggressive attacking players on, because obviously they're looking forward towards Frankfurt. But Silva did a good job. Again, he's looking to pass the ball forward, even more so than I thought Jorginho was at times today. So Silva gets box number 5. Box number 6 is a red box for Kai Havertz, because as much as I back Kai Havertz and as much as I think that he has actually been a big saving grace for Chelsea so far in 2022, where we've actually been quite poor for quite some time, but I thought Kai Havertz today was isolated. I thought he doesn't look as sharp as he was a couple of weeks ago, and I think overall it epitomised what I would explain Chelsea's performance as for 90 minutes, which was very pedestrian. It looked like a team who didn't really know what they're fighting for, which is incredibly concerning for me. And I'm not saying that Havertz wasn't trying, but I'm saying that I think the change of the way he was playing today compared to what we've seen from him before in recent games really was the epitome of a lot of performances out there today. I thought Alonso did very well as well, but Kai Havertz is a worry at the moment, because even when Lukaku comes on, yes, he wins the penalty, but other than that, it's still... I don't know how many of these minutes or cameos from Lukaku we're going to get until we basically just know that it's not worked. But yeah, this has been a negative one again, because I'm sure you can agree the performance was a bit like, thank goodness for Captain America today. Honestly, Pulisic comes on, makes the difference. Massive 3 points for Chelsea. Massive in the race for the top 4. But I don't even know if I can stay awake for Liverpool-Everton now, because I feel drained. But it's done. The losing streak is over. We win at Stamford Bridge. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you are new. Come on, you Blues.